First of all, I want to just say how it's felt amazing to be here amongst what feels very much like family to me. I can't believe how much I forgot how many people I would be seeing that I've had such a long history with, so many great relationships. I feel like I'm amongst my own family, even though I'm amongst the Kenyans and the wards. It's really amazing. I want to start by mentioning the ceremony and how much I loved it. And Laura, I want to specifically thank you for making me feel, I think they call it an emotion. It was actually, it was amazing. It was really, I mean, very much. It was wonderful. And Cliff, I want to thank you for asking me to give this speech. I've never been asked to speak at a wedding before. And I hope that all of you will be patient with me, because when somebody's doing something for the first time, they're often not as good at it as they hoped they would be. Laura, you'll learn about that later tonight. I thought about this speech for a long time. My friend Greg, who's a neighbor and also a very, very long-time friend of Cliff's, we talked about what the speech would be like. And I decided more to go from the heart and go from how I actually felt. And I'm not going to roast Cliff, although that would be very fun and very easy to do. I'm not. So what I want to do instead is just talk about how I know Cliff, which is, I've known him forever. I feel like, anyway. Cliff and I grew up together. We went to middle school, high school, college, same college at UConn together, and then we were roommates together through most of our 20s, through most of our adult life. My brother, Jesse, and I lived with Cliff in the house that Cliff and Laura live in now when he met Laura. So we were witness the genesis of the love that we're celebrating today. It's true, we were. It was amazing. So through that, I got to know Laura from the beginning as this beautiful, kind, funny, ambitious, successful person. And somehow that makes a match for Cliff. I'm not sure how. Knowing Cliff as I do for years and years and years, I can say, I mean, there's way too many stories to tell from way back in the day, from, oh my God, from the ping pong and pool in the basement all the way to all the epic mountain bike rides, all the things we've done, the crazy youth kind of teenage things that we've done. And through it all, Cliff was sort of the voice of reason in amongst a bunch of silly and mischievous young boys. He was sort of the voice of reason. And I think that when people met Cliff growing up, and even now, they pretty much always say, what a nice person. One of those situations where such a overwhelming a sense of this really good, nice person. And yet, Cliff has lived in sort of a stark defiance, that old adage of the nice guy finishes last. Cliff is an incredibly competitive, successful person who, it's funny, I think that in growing up, being kind of like guys and being competitive, you don't often sing each other's praises. But it's a really nice feeling to be able to get up and just tell Cliff how much I've always respected him and looked up to him. He's always the guy that you want to drive in a road trip because he's just so capable and just he can do everything better than other people. Like if I was going into war, I would want him flying the plane and shooting the gun and like everything else. It's true. I'm serious. That's what I feel. So I don't want to draw this out forever, but one of the things that I did do is I talked to a lot of the people that, a lot of the older people that we've both known our whole lives, our parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and asked them kind of what makes marriage so special, what makes marriage last. And there was a bunch of different responses. Actually, the first people I got in contact with was my parents. I mean, my grandparents. I called my grandparents and Chief answered. That's what we call my grandfather. And I said, Grandpa, I'm giving a speech at Cliff's wedding, and I want to talk about marriage and what it means and why it's special. And his response, I better get your grandmother. So, Grandma comes on, and it's like this recorded speech about marriage and how great it is. She's telling me about, oh, sacrifice and this and that sort of things. And then she starts telling me about children, having children and seeing your children grow up and grandchildren. And then in this sort of grandmotherly way says, and great-grandchildren, if I ever get any, that kind of thing. And I'm like, okay, Graham. And then, without any segue at all, goes right into, she goes into, gold is up and oil's up and the dollar's down. I'm like, Graham, I got a bunch of other calls to make. I gotta go. I don't know where that was coming from, but I talked to a bunch of other people, and you can maybe guess who these responses came from. One response was it's about compatibility, and that you have to be with somebody that you match with, and that that you work with. Another response, this made a lot of sense to me. Every day is going to throw something different at you. There's challenges every day. And yet, if you're married, you have this core that will not change and will be there to kind of to stabilize you throughout all the chaos and things that are going to happen in life. I thought that was pretty cool. One was, if you're lucky, you marry your best friend. And the bonus being that your best friend is of the opposite sex, and that's pretty cool. And the last one that I thought was pretty memorable was, it's just friggin' luck. And so to that, I would like to make a toast to Cliff and Laura, to their future, and maybe to them having children someday that I can beat at basketball, at least until they're 10.
Cheers!